let's have a quick look at this bit of expert trolling from Reform. They said, "Good morning, Shabana Mahmood," and it was Shabana in the Reform gear. She had a Farage top. She had a Reform cushion. It's quite detailed. She even has Farage's books in the background. She's got a Reform poster. She's got a little Farage doll, which was a nice touch. Farage poster, of course, and the England flag. Pretty good trolling. Some people suggested it was actually not a good approach when she's actually taking your policies. Shabana wasn't thrilled. She said, "Over my dead body." A little bit humorless. She could have gone with something else there, I think, but that's what she went with. It, some people say, "Look,
Over my dead body" was a bad response. I'm going to leave it there. That's a ridiculous response. But
yeah." I mean, she'd already said it in an interview. It's a little bit humorless. I mean, but you could say some people were really annoyed at Reform because they thought they were missing an open goal here. If she really is taking on your kinds of ideas, then you welcome it. You don't sort of mock her for it. Another thing I said is that Farage, what he admits that in rhetoric he likes what she's doing. In rhetoric, they're following Reform, but you could argue that because Reform don't have such clear policies, or their policies aren't strong enough with the 600,000 they want to deport, that actually she's leading the way now in policy. You know, and what Farage does, if you Gawain Tallis said an interesting thing a while ago where that Farage actually, although he seems to be a pioneer, he actually just sees which way the wind's blowing and just follows it. So I wonder if you could almost say Farage is just now following uh, again what the mood. You know, he sets the rhetoric. Maybe they're copying his rhetoric, but he's now going to sort of be in the wake of their policy. I don't know.
well, I tell you what, if Mahmood is genuinely interested in delivering what she said she wants to deliver, then she should join Form. It shouldn't
Yeah, I
be
mean,
over. There's no
they even had
because
a website
because
set up,
because
moodforreform.com or
there's no
something.
way she's going to deliver under any other party. She's not going to deliver it under her own party. Not a hope in hell. And by the way, hell is Great Britain.
Yes, I mean she's got to take on her own party and take on the blob, and people have pointed out how incredibly difficult this is, and without leaving the ECHR, which many think is necessary, some say isn't
And
necessary.
producing
So
safe and legal routes. So, by the
yeah,
way, that's that's going to be the legacy of that.
yeah, and I actually said somewhere if the system won't work for a Muslim woman, it won't work for anyone, right? Because we have this idea, oh, the system wouldn't work for the Tories because it doesn't like the Tories. Everyone is a lefty in the civil service. But you've got a civil service full of lefties and with lots of Muslims in it as well. If they won't do it, no one will. You know, so then it really is broken. If she can't make the lever work, if the button doesn't do anything, then you really have a completely
Well, she's just
useless
found
inert
herself
system.
as the wrong type of brown again. She'll just be cast into that cohort and be forgotten about. I'll tell you this now: if
Yeah,
she wants
yeah.
to deliver, she needs to go to Reform.
Do you know what? It's so right, Paul. There was a tweet that I had and I lost it. See if I can find it now. Which is exactly what you said. She was accused of having of being white power with a brown face. This is how nuts it gets. Do you remember when some of the sort of boomer types, no offense to boomers, they're actually a large chunk of my audience, but do you remember when people were saying, let's bring in Kemi because they won't be able to attack her for a race? And I was thinking, didn't you see what happened to Suella Braverman and Priti Patel? They attack you anyway. Well, there was a brilliant one, which I had and lost just before we started the podcast, where someone accused Shabana Mahmood of white power with a brown face, which I just thought was absolutely extraordinary. And we've seen already in the podcast, she's called a Nazi. She's taking her policies directly from the Austrian painter. I mean, so there's nothing they won't say. I wish I can't
They're,
find it.
they're just
Go
as
on.
they're just as racist, if not more racist, than the people they accuse of being racist. Every single one of them. They're always the same. They what they do is they build a framework of acceptable racism so they can work within that and just be as racist as they like. And obviously, inevitably, they are racist against white people. I mean, what the idea? They need to look into her background, by the way, because I don't think she's had this um, coming into the light moment. I don't think she has. I think that it's very populist. Um, but like you say, if she
Look into
cannot,
whose background?
Mahmood's, there's nothing about her.
Oh, they need to say,
No, yeah,
yeah.
because there's nothing about her background that tells you she was going to make this move. And
So
She
this guy, I found it. He says Shabana Mahmood is an exemplar, nice word, of white power with a brown face. She follows in the footsteps of Sajid Javid, Priti Patel, James Cleverly, and Suella Braverman, all chosen to enact the most racist policies imaginable, using their ethnic backgrounds as cover. Classic white power with a brown face, Paul. Can't you see how white power this is?
isn't she
I don't,
white?
I don't know. No, I don't think that person below is white, but this is
Middle Eastern,
he's.
perhaps. I mean, this white passing. So it's always the same though, isn't it? It's always the
That
same.
was a bloke above saying it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, if you were going to do, I don't know, the idea that Shavana Mahmood is enacting white power is just that's where
Well,
we are anyway.
no, I mean
2025.
it means nothing. Skin color, same as kind of sexuality. It means nothing. It
Well,
really means nothing.